Hello, today we are going to talk about the distributive property and how integers are used in the distributive property. But before we get into that part, I want us to take a minute and review the distributive property. This is a property that should have been learned in 6th grade. Basically, what the distributive property says is that whatever term is on the outside of a set of parentheses, you are going to distribute that term to whatever terms are on the inside of the parentheses by way of multiplication. So in this example, we're going to distribute the 2 to the m by multiplying 2 times m, and we are going to distribute the 2 to the 4 by doing 2 times 4. So when you multiply 2 times m, you get 2m, and 2 times 4 to get 8. This would be our simplified expression, 2m plus 8. Now, with integers, you are still going to follow the same steps using the distributive property. You're still going to multiply whatever term is on the outside of the parentheses to whatever term is on the inside. So let's say, for example, instead of that positive 2, it's now a negative 2. That doesn't mean the steps change. You're still going to multiply that negative 2 to the m. So we'll have negative 2 times m. And we're going to have negative 2 distributed to the next term, which is a positive 4. So that would be negative 2 times the 4. And of course you would multiply the negative 2m and the negative 2 times positive 4, which is negative 8. Even though both terms are negative, we can't combine them because remember, like terms have same variables and exponents. Therefore, our simplified expression, negative 2m plus negative 8. Let's do another example. This time, not only is the outside term negative, but we have this subtraction or negative sign inside the parentheses. It might be helpful to go ahead and group that subtraction with the 4. So instead of saying subtract 4, try to look at it as a negative 4. So when you distribute to the first term, you'll have negative 2 times m and a negative 2 times the negative 4. So the negative 2 went to the m as well as the negative 4 by way of multiplication. Now you just multiply negative 2 times m and a negative 2 times a negative 4 will give us a positive 8. Therefore, the simplified expression, negative 2m plus 8. Here's one more example. This time, there's just a negative symbol on the outside of the parentheses. It might be helpful to remember that even though it's just a negative symbol there, there's an understood 1 on the outside. So instead of having a positive 1, it's now a negative 1. So this negative 1 is going to be distributed to 3n. Remember, it might be helpful to group the subtraction with the 2. So now this is like a negative 2. So the negative 1 will also be distributed to the negative 2. And what we have is negative 3n plus negative 1 times negative 2, which is a positive 2. Now, there is a shortcut to simplifying an expression when it has just the negative sign on the outside. You might want to remember that this negative sign could also be read as opposite of. So what this is saying is, what is the opposite of positive 3n? Well, that's a negative 3n. And what is the opposite of a negative 2? Well, that would be a positive 2. even though we did this same problem different ways, we still come up with the same solution.